Let's take a look at this snapper I got here. It's a little bit more modern. I don't know, about 6 or 7 years old or so. Let's take a look at it. I'll tell you what we're going to do. It's not too bad. It's a little dirty. We're going to get it cleaned up. Customer says it doesn't work. Gonna get it started. All right. That's what we do here. We fix stuff like this and make it righteous again. And just to click a quick sneak peek, I think we're going to throw in a shot of what it looks like right now. Cup holder. Beer holder. Nice. So let's get out the SuperClean, the pressure washer. I'm pretty much going to turn the pressure washer down on low because we don't need a lot of pressure for this. Let's get the deck defiled. Let's get everything cleaned off. We'll pull off the lid. Take a look at a few things. Go check the fuel. And we're going to make this thing nice because it's worth it, right? Because a machine like this of this caliber today, you're probably going to pay like $1,000 for it. So let's stop fooling around and get started. Let's see, sucking from the bottom. Oh yeah, water. Yeah, that's all water down here, look. Yep, typical. I bet you it's sat. Yeah, there's nothing but junk in this tank. We're gonna do a full wash, but you can see it's just all water and gack, and there's tons of crap at the bottom. And so this tank, we're gonna take all this stuff off. We'll have to hose wash it, super clean it, blow it out with compressed air, then put some fuel, a little bit of fuel in it, sloshing around, repeat, and probably have to put a little alcohol in it to get whatever water's up. We're gonna try to do this as soon as we, during the wash cycle, because it's nice out today. If I can get this clean and start drying it out in the sun today, it's still early enough, and we'll leave it overnight because I'm not going to finish it. But yeah, let's keep going. Well, I'd say that was worth it. Look how nice it looks. Oh, she's starting to rain out here. All right, I got to bring this in. I'm going to make a few changes, but it's time to go in because it's going to pour. I can see it. It's already starting to drizzle. We're out. Let me just show you this, and I'll show it to you when we're done, but the last fella that worked on this, and this is a mechanic, he had this all messed up. This goes here, just like that. There is a gasket behind this phenolic, and it's captive right now, so it's kind of glued on. Then the washer. This fits over, excuse me, that's an O-ring. It fits over the O-ring. You don't need anything else to seal it. He added a gasket, and I don't know what the hell he did. And he used the wrong hardware. He stripped this out, put a different bolt in. What a nightmare. So I'll show all of this to you guys. And then the owner bent this and screwed this up, so this got messed up. So we're going to have to set this back up again. When I'm done, I'll show you all of that. And then we're going to take this nut off. We want to make sure that he didn't bork anything and hit something, because that blade did need a lot of work. Put a little lube on here. Make sure the throttle and everything is lubricated and working good. I'll show you all of this. We're going to put a touch of lube right in that bushing area right there. Make sure everything is working good, moving nice. And again, I'll show you that. And then we'll put the tank. The tank is clean. I cleaned it last night. It's been sitting drying. We'll get that on. We'll get the blade on. I'll show you that. And then we can do a test. All right, we're good here, so we can see that. However, this is a 10 thousandths, and that's tight. So it feels like it's okay. There's a little bit of rust on it, but that's kind of tight. Let me check this for tight. If it seems like it's tight, then we're okay. But if it's not tight, then we're going to want to adjust it to 10 thousandths to make sure. It is clean. It's in great shape. The brake is doing its job. Usually we don't have to do much there, but we're going to give that another little check. Put this nut back. That all looks good. I put a little lube here, a little lube on that. This is all working pretty good, as we can see. Okay, and we want to make sure that this is working good. I feel like it feels like it's kind of getting a little stuck here, and I'm not sure what's happening. With this, it feels a bit weird. It could just be the arrangement of it all. This, again, looks like it's bent. So what we're going to do is, when we're done here, we'll put the tank on. We'll leave, where did I do with it? Wherever the adapter is. Here, wait. Oh, it's over here. We'll leave this off, okay? So, because we don't need the throttle cable, we can do our adjustments here. That way, we can check RPM and make sure everybody's happy. And then once this is adjusted, if it needs it, and I see that everything is working fine here, then we can put that adapter back, and then we'll hang, all right, the throttle cable for it. Well, this plug looks good. Nice and chocolatey. It was a little loose. Doesn't look in bad shape. Let's get another plug on that, and we can move forward. Now we're going to use the HIPA plug on this one. I got a little bit of nose seize on it. It's gapped up. It's a BK5 ECU. Right, I've used them before. They seem to work pretty good. All right, plugs in, top's going down. Now, when you put the top down, there's a couple of things to watch out for. Like this is sticking up a little bit, but this is too low, so something went wrong over there. Remember, he had it apart, so I'm thinking this is sticking up correct, so something's not right over here. So yeah, definitely something's not right. Got to take a look at that. Might have to add a washer. It might be crushing the tank. It's just in plastic. There should be a metal grommet in there, but if he had it off, I may not have noticed it. It might have fallen out, or he took it apart because they were loose. I do have others, so we need to check that. The other thing too is in the front where the plug comes through. It won't sit down if you don't have the plug wire in the correct spot. And I've also seen this too on some of the models. People crush this rod. They get it in the way, they bend it. This is adjustable. The choke is adjustable with that bend, that U-bend in the rod. So we're going to want to, you see the U-bend here? So that's it. That's your adjustment. So let me take a look at this and see what's going on. See, that looks correct there, but that's sitting down a little too much. So we need to peek in there and see what's going on. A little bit of chain lube. A nice thing to do is this gets washed out, of course, but I can actually see junk right there by the spring. See, there's still junk in it. I put some chain lube. Chain wax works good. You can use oil, but the lube, chain lube, just like on your bicycle chain, it's going to kind of solidify. It's not going to splatter all over. And then you pull it back and forth a whole bunch of times to work it in and wipe off the excess, and it'll kind of dry. like more like closer to the wax style. Where is that stuff? Do I have it? Yeah, here we go. All right, let me keep going. Okay, so this one has the bushing in it, and that one does not. And I could have done it, but I noticed that these were loose. And he did say he tried to take the carb off, because I know he broke or bent the cable over here. He bent this thing up. So I have another one. Let me see if this fits. I save a few of these. Yeah, that should do the job. All right, let's put that back. All right, gotta check the oil. And I checked it like 4 times. Let me show you. Common mistake, but we're not sure yet. So, I don't know if you'll see it, but here's the oil here. It's supposed to be down here. So it's over full. It doesn't look terrible. It feels thin, so it's shot. Now that could be gas getting in. That could be water. It just hasn't foamed up. Either way, it's good enough for right now just to start it. We're not going to leave it in any length of time. We just want to run it, make sure it's okay. Let it heat up a little bit, then we'll dump it. And we got to bring it back for everything else. Let's turn it on its side. And let's go take a look at the blade. And we'll put the blade on. All right, we're ready for the blade. I'll get a shot over here of what it looked like before. Just to show you real quick. But now the deck is all nice and clean underneath here. And I took some time to clean up the blade. It was pretty nasty. And I checked the balance, it's fine. It's, you know, we've got a cutting edge here. And here, we got a little waller there, and there was some nicks. But we got to get it cleaned up. I just want to run my wire wheel over that real quick. We want a good, clean surface. There was a sticker here. If there's a sticker here, take your sticker off. You don't want anything kicking the blade. And I put some no-sees on this as well. You want to be able to get the damn thing out, right? So butter it up, make it nice. You can even put some butter on this, a little grease on that too, because you don't want all that water to sit there and rot everything. Everything else looks good. Let me put the blade on, we'll get some fuel in it, and then we'll give it a quick test. And like I said, then we'll bring it back. Okay, we got the blade installed correctly. I don't like these little winglets that stick down. I'm not a fan of that personally, but if you put it the other way, it doesn't go, because the wing has to be towards the deck. And there's a wing here, there's a wing there. It has to be towards the deck. Because if you turn it the other way, then the wing would be sticking down and literally bludgeoning your lawn to death. So, not a really big fan, but this is their combination blade. We're all on there, we're all good. I'm gonna go put it down on its feet, go take a quick break, grab some lunch, grab a little bit of coffee, and then we'll come back and test it. All right, so it's automatic choke. So we want to pull on this spring, okay? And that should pull, my guess is it should pull the throttle open. It's on choke, so it won't do that yet. Shouldn't need to prime anything, but you know, could have some water in it, whatever. Let's give it a pull and see. All right, bail is pulled back. Let it warm up. 3120. Okay, she's shutting off good. 3220, 33 is fine. That was weird. It might have just been a little stuck. I see there's a touch of water or something cookie in here. I want to get that out. She needs to run longer for sure. She's just burning off some stuff. this is all loose, okay, from pulling on it. We'll see what we can do about tightening this up. I saw there was some loose bolts. I think we're okay now. I'm going to reach in there with a little tissue and pull out some of that. There might be some water up in the engine. That could be common. I think this thing sat for a while, personally, and then he decided to use it. Probably fired off his lawn service and then went to use this, and it wouldn't run. So let's do a cold start on it, and let's move this to see how that's doing. And if we get good function there, then we'll bring it in for an oil change. All right, I think we're doing good. Now, this is all sticky here, and this, somebody might have adjusted it. This bolt is loose, the jam nut is not down. I see a number of things. So we're gonna wanna lubricate all of that. We'll get the throttle cable back on. This all seems to be okay. We're gonna take this off, I think, so we can dump the oil, because otherwise we're gonna be dumping it all over it, and we need to tighten it up anyway. All right, so that's a mess. So we have a few more things to do. Let's bring it up on the table. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, it's like water. I didn't even let it run that long. That's just nasty. Well, there's no water in it, but there could have been some gas in it, so maybe the carb got stuck, or I don't know. You know, you don't know sometimes what people do. Somebody was in it, so let's let that drip out. Let me get some oil in it. We'll put some good oil in it. I think just a 1030 should be fine for this. And then we can move forward, because we don't want to forget. All right, I'm going to go with just a little bit of Rotella, about 1/3, and some Valvoline high mileage 1030, because the Rotella is going to give you the zinc and the other things, because it's an off-road truck, and it's a little thicker, 1540, so you can get all of that. This motor is getting older, and that oil was mud. And the Valvoline is going to give you the 1030, so we don't want to get too thick. And it's going to give you some seal conditioners, so we don't leak anything. Let's get that in there, and we'll be back to the next step. All right, so I already went through the back, and I'll show you real quick, but I lubed all of the points and made the whole transport work well. And we'll take a quick peek at that in a minute. But this is stuck. This needs to be greased. Yeah, so I got to get that moving again. I'm already lubricating it, and we got to get good lubricant in there, work this back and forth until she's moving good, clean the dirt out. Sometimes I got to loosen these up a little bit, spin them backwards a touch, and we'll get some grease on that. There are bearings in these, so we're going to want to drip a little bit. Hear it? We want to drip some oil in there and some chain wax. We should be able to get it past that little dust cover. So I'm going to work on that, and we'll come back and I'll show you when I'm done. But that needs to be done. Okay, loosen them up, pull the dirt out, get some chain wax in there, some lubricant, get everything moving. It's nice and tight, but it's movable. And these are captive nuts back here, like crushed nuts. So you want to make sure, and there's a shaft on it. So you don't want these loose. You got to tighten them back down again, otherwise you'll lose the bolts and you'll lose your front. We got lubricant in the bearings, which is nice because it actually has bearings. We just want to protect our axle shafts here from rot, because the wheels were getting stuck on. Well greased, nice and clean. Got some oil in it, let it drip down. We'll wipe it as we go. There's only one cover. I guess the other one fell off. Okay. Yeah, that's better. All right, let me clean that up. A couple more things to do. I'm also working my way around lubricating. So I did lubricating here with chain lube and a little oil and what have you. So this is now adjusted. He just kind of tried to rip this off and made a mess of the clip that's in here. So we're readjusted, right? That's all the way forward on my handle. This is all the way back. I got to glue the sticker back on. I think that would be idle, and that would be pulling on that spring. So now we're going to about 32, 33. That's fine for this motor, especially as it ages. We're good there. And we can, just a little bit on the shaft, little chain wax. And his air filter was pretty new. I just cleaned out. You really should get one of these pre-filters. That's the best for us, just in general. I mean, I have it on my Honda too, but they just work so good. And you can like double your life for something simple like that. At least double the life of your filter. Not that it's a big deal, but it's also just another protection mechanism in place. So a little tight getting on here. The gas tank is a little close. All right, well, I want to go back and just show you one more thing on the tranny, and then we'll put the chute on, give it another run, and we should be able to call the customer. All right, I got the little rubber cap off of this, and what they tend to put in there is grease. I'm banging myself, hitting stuff while I'm trying to show you guys. So what we want to put back is just a dollop of grease, and before we do that, let's get, this is 1540, all right? Couple of good pumps in there, because the grease tends to get thrown to the sides, so it'll be built up along the, the housing on the inside. It won't be where we need it. It looks good in there, and this will wet it up a little bit. And then of course we want to top it off with a pump or two. That's it. All right, a couple of good dollops of grease, and you can see it in there. And then that's it. And let's just put this back. Now this can be done. Oh, I don't know. Check your manual. But people don't know about it. They forget. So whatever year this is, I didn't look to see what year it is. So let's say 10 years go by. I would say every 5 years, depends on how often you use it. Look for the seals to sort of blow out. These seals look good. I lubricate the seals with a bit of oil, or my tranny fluid mix is even better. A little chain lube or chain wax on the seals, on the sides, everywhere. Anywhere where there's a pivot, that you can see a pivot of any kind, right? You see this pivoting here. So we want chain wax or chain loop up in these areas. I've been doing that as I go. Just a wonderful thing. This whole axle shaft got it. All these little connectors in here got it. I tighten this guy up. So any moving thing up on the top of the headset area, head control, the shaft that moves back and forth for the speed. This is moving nice now. You know, you can still hear it because it's actually, the wheel is actually laying on that spinning disc. It's a little hard to start. I don't see an adjustment for that. That's mostly here in the spring, and I'll get you in a little bit closer. We'll just do a sweep around. I'll try not to shake the camera too much, but you know, we're going a little bit. So any area that moves, right? This is where I like the chain wax. So you could see that she's moving good. This area here in the throttle, we got to put that sticker back on. Up in here, one of the fellas said I did a show on replacing cables and stuff and making your own cables, and you could hear the squeak. This is one spot where the squeak comes from, up in here. So chain wax or grease. If it gets rusty, you have to take it off, clean off the rust, and then put some grease on it. These, I actually put some chain wax on them, took them off, screwed them back in again. They were loose and tight and just all kind of weird. So again, down in here, so all these, this was loose, it was up here, that's a jam nut. All this gets chain wax, chain wax. Try to get the chain wax in here as well. You can also put a little grease if you want, but the chain wax will kind of dry, so it won't attract so much, you know, embed so much dirt. In here in the bearings, on the spring, again, all the way around here, down into every little area where anything spins or moves, chain lube or chain wax. The chain lube is better for like trying to get into the seals and stuff and wetting them up. Just, you know, this is the time to get that kind of lubrication. Don't forget, up in the bearing areas here, that's better for chain lube, maybe a little oil, or my tranny sauce if it's really dry. You'll get some in These tend to go, so you're going to want to make sure you lube those from time to time and keep them clean. You can see they're sealed, but these are not hermetically sealed, you know. They keep some of the dirt out. But other than that, I think she's good. All up in here, this as it traverses along that hex shaft, right, you're going to need to get, that's chain wax. That's probably your best bet. Then up in here too, on the pivot, I think I mentioned it earlier, but that pivot area, chain lube or chain wax. And if you have to start off with a bit of oil or something like my tranny fluid sauce mix, because they get real sticky, and that's another source of that squeak and squeal that one fella asked me about a while back. So I think we're good. Let me fit that guy on there, and I'll just clean it up real quick, and we'll get it fitted with some new hardware and make it tight. We'll let it run one more time. A little bit of smoke. Let it burn off. Oh, she's running good. Now remember, now we turned it on its side and dumped the oil and all of that, so that could be the smoke. But it tends to rev up, which is like something I've never seen at one of these, when you get it started, and then it comes down. So, but this is a slightly different carburetor. It's a little older unit. Maybe it's supposed to do that, but it's done it consistently. I don't know the machine all that well, but I think overall everything is running really good. All right, it didn't take too much to get this thing together again. You can, bird. Yeah, you're gonna hear the wildlife sounds. I know some of you actually commented on it. You actually like to hear it. I don't orchestrate it. They do what they want. This thing came out really nice. It is a little newer version. You could tell by the newer engine design. Overhead valve is not a flathead, but this is, they call it their professional series. And it is pretty good. It's a decent motor. But you're still getting overall the construction that you will not see unless you start to spend, I don't know, 6, 7, 1,000 and up today on the open market. We got everything done. I want to check the oil one more time because the ground here and this table is not dead flat. So I gotta go find a nice spot for that. And the bird wants to be in it too. Also, shout out to SuperClean. You know, this is another tool in the toolkit. To get something like that, this was really dirty, so to get something really dirty clean, try SuperClean. All right, I interrupt this video with this interruption for SuperClean. And I interrupt those interruptions with this interruption for SuperClean. SuperClean. Get yours now. And it's just a nice machine. Go see if you can find one of these. They're still around, although a lot of people don't sell them because they don't need to. They're in really good shape. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for stopping in. Arch's Garage. Shut up, bird.